Hello and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel STF Wargaming Studio. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking and this is my unboxing of the Nazgûl of Dol Guldur number 2. So this blister was released at the Forged Open Day as a surprise pre-release. We knew that the blister number 1, which I unboxed yesterday, would be available, but we had no clue that the entire lineup would be on show. Well, I had my suspicions regarding Jay's Christmas post on the Warhammer community page that he was painting up the full 9, but for purchase I had no clue. So I was lucky enough to have a friend of mine going over to the open day and picking me up both blisters so I can unbox them for you way ahead of the official release date, which I have no clue about. Hopefully blister number 1 at least will be available very soon, but will blister number 2 and 3 come very shortly after, or will there be like a month in between or something? I don't know. But anyway, let's have a look at the contents of this magnificent blister under the high-def camera now. So welcome back to this unboxing of the Nazgûl of Dol Guldur number 2. So this pack contains Khamûl the Easterling in the middle, the second Slayer of Men on the left hand side, and the Lingering Shadow on the right hand side there. So very similar sculpt to the Witch King, and this might be down to the Weta having limited designs in the finished movie, although they had several other designs readily available, something to do with release dates and scheduling, I think, made that they had to reuse designs and stick alternate weapons on them. But let's have a look at the contents of this blister. So just open it just prior to pressing record to save you looking at me handling a knife very unresponsibly. So inside, same as the last one, you have a couple of sprues and you have the 3 bodies, plus 3 bases, of course. This has 1 more sprue than the others, and I do think that is because of Khamûl's helmet. So we have, here's Khamûl. He's noted as being number 1 and A. Then you have the Lingering Shadow, number 2 and B, and the Slayer of Men, number 3 and C. So there's corresponding things to this. You have CBBC, so this is of course the 2 parts of the weapon for the Slayer of Men, and you have of course the 2 swords of the Lingering Shadow. Over here you have Khamûl's mace, and then you have Khamûl's, well, arm and antlers, if you can call it that. But let's have a look at the quality. Let's take my least favorite of the 3. It is the Slayer of Men number 2. So this one has a slightly more dynamic pose than the other. He's still resting, but he has the weapon not straight up, mirroring the Guard of the Galadrim Court, but this one has it kind of like in a defensive backwards pose as well. So my main detractor of this sculpt is how wide it is. If we look at it beside Khamûl, you can see that is much wider. His waist isn't showing, and he's very boxy. Looking at him next to a Castellan of Dol Guldur, you will see that he kind of looks like a big dwarf, in my opinion, and that's why this is my least favorite sculpt of the 3, and the 2 Slayer of Men is my least favorite 2 sculpts of the 9. But then again, having 2 sculpts I don't particularly enjoy, of 9 models is perfectly fine. So the intricacy of the armor and chainmail is very good well captured in here. We have Cloak, which is very cool indeed. It does twist and turn, giving it feel of motion. And yeah, the headdress is pretty cool. That is a very good part of the model. The head on this one looks very menacing. Looking at his weapon next. So it is in 2 parts. So you mount this on the rear end, and you mount this on the front end. And these look rather good and straight to me. The sword as well looks very straight for the lingering shadow. This one has a slight bend, but nothing major, nothing some steam wouldn't fix, or a hairdryer. And I really enjoy that they put these protective pegs on the tips, so that they're less prone to breakage. Did that with the iron nails as well. I think it looks good. So, finishing off the lingering shadow, since we looked at his weapons already so far, this is quite a cool model. I think he has a very cool stoic pose, like waiting with his weapons. Wouldn't mind actually more dynamic poses as well, but I'll bear no brunt against that. I'll buy another set if they are dynamic as well, as I can choose which ones to do. But I do like that they have all the same poses like they do in the movie, when they're all standing in like a triangle in front of Sauron, the Necromancer. So yeah, I do feel this miniature has good motion. Doesn't seem to be any casting mistakes on it. Very cool intricate details and ornate armor. I do love this model. It's very cool. And lastly, we have Khamûl the Easterling, the only ring wraith named by Tolkien. Although the Witch King is a name, it's more of a title. Khamûl is a name, a proper name. And this model has received a bit of flack online, and that is because he's perceived to be very weirdly proportioned. So I kind of agree if you just see him like this. Now, if you do think about proportions, his legs are a bit too low, although his waist is like a millimeter or 2 off from where I think it should be. But I do think the model is very menacing, and if looked at the front angle, he looks much better than he does from this side. So it's kind of like a millimeter or 2 off, and I don't think that is a huge problem. Will take a ton of work to elevate him that one millimeter up to get it completely right. Other than that, he does look bigger on the torso, being his arms are so heavily laden with armor. But I do think that is a very cool thing, making it runish armor. He's tying in line with the Easterling faction for the Lord of the Rings, and yeah, I do enjoy this model. I think it looks good, although it could be slightly better proportioned. Looking at his mace, this mace does not look like it's fun to be slapped in the face with. It's slightly bent, it's at an angle there, but nothing a good piece of warm water or warm air wouldn't do. It comes in 2 parts. The head has 2 parts to make the casting process easier, and It looks spiky, it looks good, it looks crisp. Nothing to fuss about here. It's just good piece of workmanship, this. And last sprue is of course Khamûl's left arm and antlers, and yeah, I do think these are great. Crisp detail, nothing to be sad about here. It looks good. So tell me in the comments below what you think about these two sets. I've been reviewing these past 2 days. Which one is your favorite? Which model of the 3 reviewed in this video is your favorite? And which model out of the 6 or even 9 is your favorite? Has it been released yet? Is it in pack number 3? Tell me in the comments below. As ever, please comment, like, share and subscribe. Consider supporting SDF on Patreon using the link in the description below. Patreon is a voluntary subscription service where you for $1 a month or more can donate to us and support our work, and you get lovely perks in back, such as exclusive videos, early release of the Grand Campaign and more. So do check that out in the comments below, in the description below, and as ever, support your hobby.